What if I told you that your body already has a powerful built-in repair system? A system capable of regenerating damaged tissues, helping aging organs recover, and even slowing down the biological clock of your body. The surprising part is that many people unknowingly weaken this system every single day through their daily habits. I'm not talking about an experimental drug or a medical procedure that requires traveling overseas. I'm talking about something that already exists inside you, your stem cells. And today I'm going to explain which foods, when eaten consistently for about 30 days, may help increase the number of circulating stem cells in your bloodstream. Stay with me, because once you understand this, it may completely change the way you think about food. My name is Dr. Thomas Harrison. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we explore the science of the human body in a practical and useful way. No hype, no fads, just research-based information you can start applying in your life today. Before we discuss the foods, it's important to understand why stem cells matter so much. Once you realize what they actually do inside your body, you'll likely want to protect and support them as much as possible. Stem cells act like the body's master repair system. They are undifferentiated cells, meaning they haven't yet specialized into a specific type of cell. Depending on what your body needs, they can transform into heart cells, brain cells, muscle cells, blood vessel cells, and more. Whenever your body experiences inflammation, injury, or cellular damage, it sends signals that attract stem cells. These cells travel through the bloodstream to the damaged area and begin the repair process. However, there's a challenge. As we age, the number of stem cells in our body decreases dramatically. At birth, roughly 1 out of every 10,000 cells is a stem cell. By the age of 60, that number can drop to about 1 in 2 million, a massive decline. This reduction is one of the reasons recovery becomes slower, chronic conditions become more common, and the body doesn't bounce back the way it once did. But recent research suggests something encouraging. Your lifestyle, especially your diet, can influence the production and release of stem cells from your bone marrow into your bloodstream. When those numbers increase, many people notice improvements in energy, faster recovery, lower inflammation, and overall better resilience in the body. So how can we support this process? Let's talk about it in a practical way. I'll explain which foods may help, how they work in the body, and how you can include them in your routine over the next 30 days to support your body's natural repair system. The first group of foods to consider is dark leafy greens. You've probably heard about their benefits before, but today I want you to think about them in a slightly different way. Focus especially on chlorophyll-rich foods such as spirulina, chlorella, moringa, and dark leafy greens like kale. These foods are not just packed with nutrients, they also contain compounds that may support what scientists call hematopoietic stem cell activity, the process through which stem cells are produced in the bone marrow. Spirulina, for example, has been widely studied. Research published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that phycocyanin, the blue-green pigment in spirulina, may help stimulate the mobilization of stem cells from the bone marrow. Mobilization simply means that stem cells move from where they are stored into the bloodstream, where they can travel to areas that need repair. Adding about 1 to 2 teaspoons of spirulina powder into a morning smoothie each day for a month can be a simple way to include it in your routine. Chlorella works in a slightly different way. It is known for helping bind certain heavy metals and toxins in the digestive system and assisting the body in removing them. This is important because a toxic gut environment can interfere with many biological processes, including cellular repair. You can think of it this way: stem cells are like emergency responders in your body, but if the pathways are blocked with toxins and inflammation, their job becomes harder. Supporting gut health may help clear those obstacles and allow the body's repair mechanisms to function more efficiently. Now let's talk about blueberries, because the research surrounding them and stem cell health is truly fascinating. Blueberries contain a powerful compound called pterostilbene, which is closely related to resveratrol. The difference is that pterostilbene is more bioavailable, meaning your body can absorb and use it more effectively. This compound activates an important cellular pathway known as SIRET1, often referred to as one of the body's longevity genes. When this pathway is stimulated, it can help increase both the production and survival of certain types of stem cells, including neural stem cells and endothelial progenitor cells. These endothelial progenitor cells are particularly important because they help repair and rebuild the lining of your blood vessels. Researchers at Harvard studying cardiovascular regeneration observed that people who consumed blueberries regularly for several weeks showed measurable increases in endothelial progenitor cell levels. These cells are responsible for repairing the inner lining of arteries when damage occurs. Think about the long-term implications of that for cardiovascular health. Blueberries also help reduce oxidative stress in the bone marrow, which is extremely important because oxidative damage in the bone marrow is one of the key reasons stem cell production declines as we age. The simple target is 1 cup of blueberries per day. Fresh or frozen both work well, and frozen blueberries actually preserve their pterostilbene content very effectively, so you don't need to worry about buying fresh all the time. Now, the next strategy surprises many people when they hear it, and that is intermittent fasting combined with specific foods when you break the fast. Technically, fasting isn't a food, but the biological effect created by fasting followed by nutrient-rich eating can trigger a surge in stem cell activity that is difficult to replicate through diet alone. Here's what happens biologically. When you fast for around 16 to 18 hours, your body activates a process called autophagy. During autophagy, the body begins clearing out old and damaged cells, essentially performing a cellular cleanup. Then when you finally eat again, especially if the meal contains the right nutrients, your body responds by rapidly producing new cells and increasing stem cell activity. This pattern of temporary scarcity followed by nourishment is something human biology has adapted to over thousands of years. One of the best foods to break a fast with is bone broth paired with collagen-rich protein. Bone broth contains amino acids such as glycine, proline, and glutamine, which play an important role in supporting the bone marrow environment where stem cells are produced and maintained. After a fasting period that has already triggered cellular cleanup, supplying the body with these amino acids is like providing building materials at exactly the moment the body is ready to repair and rebuild. Doing this 3 to 4 times per week can make a noticeable difference. Many people report that within a couple of weeks their joint discomfort improves, their skin appears healthier, and their afternoon energy levels become more stable. These effects are often linked to improved tissue repair and cellular recovery. Next, I want to highlight something that is often overlooked in discussions about stem cells, and that is the importance of omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA. Every cell in your body is surrounded by a membrane made primarily of fats. The quality of those fats determines how well the cell communicates with its environment, how efficiently it receives signals, and how long it survives. Stem cells depend on this membrane health just like any other cell. Unfortunately, many modern diets contain large amounts of omega-6 fats from processed seed oils and very little omega-3s. When that imbalance occurs, stem cells can become less responsive, less mobile, and more vulnerable to early cell death. Foods rich in DHA can help correct this. The best natural sources include fatty fish such as wild-caught salmon, sardines, and mackerel. Studies show that people who eat fatty fish at least 3 times per week tend to have higher levels of endothelial progenitor cells and better markers of stem cell mobilization in their blood. If you don't eat fish, an algae-based DHA supplement can be a good alternative. However, whenever possible, whole foods are still the preferred option. Sardines, in particular, are one of the most underrated nutrient-dense foods available. They're affordable, environmentally sustainable, extremely rich in omega-3s, and because they sit low on the food chain, they tend to contain very low levels of contaminants. Finally, let's discuss green tea, especially matcha. Matcha contains a powerful compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. Numerous studies have shown that EGCG can help support the proliferation of hematopoietic stem cells, the stem cells responsible for producing blood cells, and may also help protect these cells from DNA damage. In other words, matcha doesn't just help produce stem cells, it may also help preserve their health and function over time. One of the biggest threats to stem cell health is damage to their DNA. When the DNA inside a stem cell becomes damaged, that cell can either stop functioning properly or die altogether. This is why protecting stem cells from daily stress and oxidation is so important. This is where EGCG, a powerful compound found in green tea, becomes valuable. EGCG acts as a strong antioxidant within the bone marrow environment, helping shield stem cells from oxidative damage caused by pollution, stress, and normal metabolic activity that happens inside the body every day. Drinking 1 cup of high-quality matcha daily can provide a meaningful amount of this compound. The key is to avoid heavily sweetened matcha drinks or dessert-style lattes. Instead, prepare pure matcha by whisking the powder into hot water. It's a simple addition to a morning routine and provides a steady, clean form of energy that many people find smoother than coffee, without the sharp spike and crash. Now let's talk about another ingredient that is surprisingly underused: black seed oil, also known as Nigella sativa. Research from regions such as the Middle East and parts of Europe has produced some very interesting findings about this oil. Its primary active compound, thymoquinone, has been studied for its ability to support bone marrow activity, assist immune cell development, and help reduce inflammatory signals that can interfere with stem cell function. Black seed oil has been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years, and modern research is gradually uncovering the biological mechanisms that may explain its benefits. A typical amount is about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per day. Some people mix it into smoothies or drizzle it over food, while others simply take it directly. The flavor is fairly strong, slightly bitter and peppery, so many people prefer to swallow it quickly and follow it with water or another drink. It's usually best to give it a couple of weeks before evaluating how your body responds. Another important factor to consider is vitamin D3. Technically, it isn't a food itself, but several foods contain meaningful amounts of it and can help support healthy levels. Examples include egg yolks from pasture-raised hens, fatty fish, and beef liver. Vitamin D3 functions more like a hormone than a typical vitamin, and it plays a role in regulating how stem cells develop, survive, and communicate. Research published in Stem Cells and Development suggests that vitamin D deficiency can impair hematopoietic stem cell function, while healthy D3 levels support the ability of stem cells to renew themselves. This process, called self-renewal, is critical because it allows stem cells to create additional stem cells instead of simply turning into specialized tissues. Without that ability, the body's repair system gradually weakens over time. One food that stands out nutritionally is beef liver. Along with vitamin D, it provides folate, vitamin B12, copper, and iron, nutrients that all participate in biological pathways involved in cell formation and repair. Eating a small portion of high-quality beef liver once or twice per week can supply an impressive range of nutrients in a single food. Another food worth mentioning is pomegranate, especially the whole fruit or pure cold-pressed juice without added sugar. Pomegranates contain compounds that your gut bacteria convert into molecules called urolithins. These compounds help activate a process known as mitophagy, where cells remove old or damaged mitochondria and replace them with healthier ones. This is particularly important for stem cells because they are extremely sensitive to changes in cellular energy systems. Healthy mitochondria help stem cells function properly, while damaged mitochondria can reduce their activity. Drinking a small glass of pure pomegranate juice 3 to 4 times per week, or simply eating the fruit regularly, can help support this mitochondrial renewal process. Now let's bring everything together in a practical way. Hearing about individual foods is helpful, but it's even more useful to see how they can fit into a daily routine over the course of about 30 days. For example, in the morning you might break an overnight fast, ideally after about 14 to 16 hours, with a smoothie that includes spirulina, a handful of frozen blueberries, and a clean source of protein. Alongside that, you could enjoy a cup of matcha. Throughout the week, aim to eat wild-caught fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, or mackerel about 3 times. On days when you practice longer fasting windows, you can include bone broth or collagen-rich protein when breaking the fast. At the same time, you might take black seed oil daily, include egg yolks regularly, and try to add a serving of liver once a week if it's something you enjoy. When combined consistently, these foods and habits can help create an environment that supports your body's natural repair processes and overall cellular health. You might end your day with something simple, like a small glass of pomegranate juice, or a handful of fresh berries paired with a little high-quality dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, especially varieties with high cocoa content, contains flavonoids that are known to support the function of endothelial progenitor cells, the cells involved in maintaining and repairing blood vessels. The key thing to understand is that none of these steps are extreme. They don't require dramatic lifestyle changes or complicated routines. Instead, it's about making consistent, intentional choices and repeating them daily over a period of about 30 days. When those small choices start stacking up, your body begins to respond. The stem cells in your bone marrow become more active. A greater number of them move into circulation through your bloodstream, and your body's natural repair systems begin operating more efficiently. Many people report noticeable improvements during this process: better sleep, quicker recovery after physical activity, healthier looking skin, less joint discomfort, and sharper mental focus. These changes aren't random. They are exactly the kinds of outcomes you would expect when the body's regenerative systems begin working more effectively. The important thing to remember is that your biology is not static. It constantly responds to the signals you provide, especially through what you eat. Every meal sends information to your body about how to function, repair, and adapt. Before we finish, there's one more crucial factor to mention: sleep. All of the biological pathways we discussed, SIRT1 activation, autophagy, and bone marrow stimulation, work even more powerfully during deep sleep. If you're eating the right foods but only sleeping 5 hours a night, you're missing a large portion of the potential benefits. Getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep isn't just helpful, it's essential if you want your body's repair systems, including stem cell activity, to function at their best. So support your body with the right nutrition, and then give it the rest it needs to actually use those nutrients effectively. If this information gave you a new perspective on what food can do inside the body, consider supporting the channel by hitting the like button. It helps this information reach more people who may benefit from it. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because we explore topics like this every week, breaking down complex science into practical advice you can actually use. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share which of these foods you're planning to start with first. I enjoy reading your thoughts and experiences. I'm Dr. Thomas Harrison. Take care of your body, because it's the only place you have to live.